Hello? Hello. I think we're live. I think we're good. Let me just get organized here, as I'm not very organized right now. Hello everybody. Hello. We're back, I guess. We probably should have been back last week. However, unfortunately I couldn't make it for the first race. Hopefully in future that might not be the case again. So hello, welcome to ACC Season 8, Race 2 at Indianapolis with the Huts Gaming League, Huts League Gaming, whichever one you want to call it, you know what I mean? It's good to be back. It's good to be back. It's been a while. Probably feel a little bit rusty, but we'll see how this goes. You can probably hear the cars, I think, in the background of me talking. Please let me know if there is some sort of audio issue, as I would have no idea as of right now. So we're just gonna go over real quick. Oh, bear with me, guys. Bear with me. Here we go. Yeah. So as of last race, these basically are standings from last race, race 1. The Ferry Schroeder leading at the moment. Like I said, it's only race 1, so you got Tomek Grezik, and we're gonna keep saying this every time we start, right? If I get your name wrong, I apologize massively. But my English tongue, I can't hit these Grezik. I can't do it, man. It's not. But anyway, Adam Radek, P3. Currently, Angel Jovanovski, the Pred, in P4. Nikolai, yeah, listen, I'm not even going to try. P5. Jordan Lake, a legend, P6. Baron Van Bunk, our own Pookie, P7. Dominic Sadel? Is that? God, the writing's quite minuscule. I think my eyes are getting old. In P8, Marco Despacito in P10. 11th is Adam Izailovic. There's a lot of these names I do not remember at all. P12, Tobias Hackinson. That's a most Swedish name I've ever heard in my life. P13, Jesse Metanich. I remember Metanich. Remember Jesse. P14, Sichio Malaya. P15, Alexei Schlowick. P16, Mikhail Penix. 17th, Andrea LaRocca. I think that's a C there. 18th, Russell Matthiessen. 19th, Big Head, Big 5 Head, Big 6. And 20th, Big Jabber. 19th, look at them, 2 brothers together. Always the way, innit, eh? Always the way. Qualifying starts in a minute's time, so I will switch over the screen when that happens, because I do not want to spoil potential places, guys. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to look at who's ahead right now and spoil the good stuff. So we'll switch over when it starts, and then hopefully everything just goes smooth as butter there, you know? That's what we're wanting. But yeah, please let me know if you can actually hear me fine. I'm going to check elsewhere, see if I've been... No, that's fine, it's fine. I've had no one tell me otherwise, so as far as I'm concerned, I'm okay. It is warm out today as well, guys. It is so warm out there. It's 26, 27, at least it was. For anyone in the UK right now, or anyone that might be racing currently, I feel so sorry for you. If you're in like a box room or something right now and you're trying to do an hour-long race, my God. Make sure you're hydrated. It's important that you stay hydrated and you're on top of all this. So yeah, I think we're starting soon. Once these guys wrap it up, we are now about to get underway. Everyone's just finishing off their little bit of practice at the end. I might have little gulps of drinks here and there. If you do hear that, I apologise in advance. it is, like I say, very warm. I've had to turn my fan off for you people. I hope you're aware of the suffering that I'm going through. Commenting on this game that I very much enjoy. You know, it's very difficult for me to sit here and talk over people racing. I can't, you know what I mean? It's a hard life, so a little bit of sympathy, touch of empathy my way would be. It's always nice. If you're in here for the first time, welcome. This is it. I'm the most amateur commentator there is. So we're about to get underway. I'm gonna switch over now, my dudes. You might hear a meow, meow. I hope you did. I promise it won't, mate. Right, let's see if this is. Oh dear. Oh. Oh. I don't know how to pronounce that. I don't know how to pronounce. Thank you for following. If you could see me, I'm doing a thumbs up, but you can't. But I am. Right, let me. Yeah. Let me in. Here we go. Thanks for the follow, buddy. Give me a quick schlecken, and we're gonna get underway. Let's find who's where, who's what. I can't even find my mouse anymore. That's gone. Oh wait, I'm pretty sure I could just. I'm sorry, guys. I'm such an amateur right now. We are sat on Fusion at the moment. He is not the first. We're looking for number 38. So once I figure out how to do this. Oh, number 38. Where are you, Jaszewski? Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Here he is. Worth a mention as well, which I was told earlier. The top 10 in those in the standings are 9 different cars. So it's either ACC have finally got the balancing absolutely spot on, or we've just had an absolute coincidence or some sort of miracle to start us off. And what is my boy? He's in a Nissan, depending where you're from. I don't know. We call it Nissan, at least I think we. In the yellow and black Nissan, and I do love this car, man. I love the design of the car. Don't necessarily know about driving, but he is on his outlap, and Jaszewski will be the one to start his hot lap around Indianapolis, and it is dark. It is night, and I'm pretty sure the main race will be a mix of both, or even the qualifying might be too. And I can't say that Jaszewski's off to a good start, because I wouldn't know. I've heard the good times around here are averaging between 134, 135, so I think that would be where everyone's hitting. However, there is traffic for people coming out now. There's people on their out laps. Jaszewski's having to cut through it all on a hot lap, which might be the difficult part of trying to get out first. You know, you're trying to avoid the traffic in hoping that everyone would probably follow behind pretty quick, but that might not be the case in this scenario, as he takes a little bit curb there. But I think the Nissan might not be too bad on that curb, and we are sticking with Jaszewski, as he will be the guy to put the first lap. He's the man to beat. He's flashing. Get out of the goddamn way. I'd say, in the great words of Ludacris, however, I don't want to give Penix an insult, but he just gets in a little bit of the way there, and he's flashing, and this looks like it could be a, I mean, that's probably enough for a warning at least. That's, it's not good. Don't want to get away with someone's hot lap. There will be complaints, and he does hit 136.4. And we're about to see who comes next, and we'll see where that lies. And Gresic is a 136.3. Schroeder comes over with 135.7. Hackinson with a 138. Bolini falls into 139. Angel Jovanovski with a 135.3 in the Honda. And the times are flying in now. Our top three right now are Angel, Schroeder, who's a previous champion. I'm pretty sure Angel might be a previous champion, or he Was he P2? I can't remember. I think last season it was either Angel or Schroeder. It seems so long ago. I can't quite remember anymore. You got Mateus and Hex, who lands into P4 to 136.1. There's a big gap between Angel of P1 and P4, so it looks like the top three might be somewhat relatively close, but they might be creating the front gap for this race so far, unless somebody else decides they want to go a little bit faster. And we're talking about a little bit faster. Fusion on his next lap is 4 tenths up, and there's so much traffic as there's so many races today, actually, by the way, guys. 27 people showed up for race 2, so appreciate that. What great attendance it is for Indianapolis. And just as Fusion just goes right off the track, turns into a temporary lawnmower, what looked like a faster lap to take potential P1 is now gone from under him. At least we know the Fusion is capable of taking P1 at the moment. And just as we say that, Schroeder lands into a 135 flat, pushing Jovanovski off P1, and now we have ourselves a competition is underway, guys. I'm going to keep looking at who else. Mateus and Hex, 3 tenths up on his lap, and he's slowing down. I think someone may have got in the way. Didn't quite see everything just there. Grzic in the McLaren, all reliable, although I'm not quite sure if it is anymore. And he's still going at 3 tenths, 4 tenths. He's making massive time. He gets 4 tenths now on this part. He puts himself into P5 over Mateus, but M. Varga goes 135.4. Not enough to push Angel off P2 into the front row, but the second row is a nice place to be. Nonetheless, that's where all the points are, in that top 4. And we're looking at gonna just switch over now to Grzic, who he's just done his lap. I think 136.2. He's just lost 2 tenths. Fusion, he's up on his lap. And if we're looking at for the 135, his lap is currently a minute in, so he's not quite the end yet. I'm just trying to keep up. Jordan Lake into P4 with the 135.5 in the Ferrari, and he that was, I think he might have just been a little bit late on the brakes there, a little bit of a bump. Probably wasn't expecting the car in front of him to maybe slow down too much. I'm not sure what happened there, but however, currently P4's Metanich puts himself into P5 at 135.8, and Fusion dropping down into P6, and every time it seems like he's on the lap, he seems to slip onto the grass or make a mistake. And I don't really want to call him out too much on all of that, but it's not looking great at the moment. He's got 7 minutes left, which I think is plenty of time to get another lap in. See a little bit of slipstreaming there from Malaya, and we're just going to pop down to Jaszewski again. He's 45 seconds into the lap with 2 tenths up. And Grzic and Jaszewski are just 2 racers at the moment who always seem to be up on the time, but nowhere further up the field from their previous places. They need to, I feel like we just need to stick a good lap here. They're having the Fusion syndrome of starting off really well, but not being able to just put it all together. So currently they are sitting in P8 and Grzic P10. Someone else has gone up, a nice H2O-Minen. Again, apologize if I say your name wrong, but these are difficult names to pronounce. 135.8, 3 tenths off Jordan Lake ahead of him in P4. And Grzic, go back say, we keep going back to Grzic. Grzic is the one that's on the biggest rise here. He's nearly 7 tenths on his lap. He's coming around the last corner, flat out surely, put everything into it. Maybe hug the inside, get as much speed as you can. And Grzic puts himself into P5, and he knocks Torman off of P5, and he drops down to P6. And Jordan Lake still hanging in there in the top 4. Your P1 is still Schroeder, who is going even faster now, nearly 2 tenths up on his lap. And Angel has to find at least 3 or 4 tenths up on his to take that P1 spot, pole position off of him. And that'll be a challenge within itself. Schroeder is Hutt's probably most consistent ACC driver. He's no matter what car I've seen him driving, he's always been one of the fastest. It's the talent is from car to car. You know, it's just a driver. But let me say that it looked like he was about to go really wide. But it looked like he just broke a little bit late. I think that might have been I think that was the lap there. So I'm going to switch around and see who is where, and we'll just have a quick look now. Schroeder, P1, you got Angel, who is 3 temps, and we were talking about looking for 3 to 4 temps that he would need to put himself into P1. He has to hope the pray to the ACC gods that no one gets in the way of this lap and he doesn't mess it up himself. He's dropped down to only a 10th, nearly 2. He's got to keep the form up. That corner looked nice, kept it on the inside. He's dropped it. He's dropped a lot there, but he's brought it back again, and he's got even faster this time on the exit. Makes it to 3 temps. Will it be enough? Will it be enough? Giovinazzi with the 3 temps up. Will he do it? And he goes into pole position. 4 minutes left. Schroeder has to return with something else, and we say that as he's 3 temps up on his lap. This is a battle for pole position. Absolutely absurd how these 2 drivers keep going faster and faster, and just when you think that they couldn't get any quicker, they find another 3 temps, they find another 4 temps. And I think maybe track evolution is probably the culprit of all these faster laps, maybe. The tyre grip. The tyre grip's probably much different, grippier. Get a lot more traction on the exits, and as we say that, Schroeder was up on his lap, but now has dropped all 4 temps, and all it takes is a tiny mistake to lose out that pole position. And so currently, your pole sitter is Giovinazzi, then it's Schroeder in the front row. Mathiasen is still holding in P3. Varga holds P4. Jordan Lake holding P5 nicely. And he's just ahead of Grzezic and Fusion. And I think Fusion might be able, if he takes these next few corners well, he'd be up on his time. Sporting the Lexus. Oh, he touches the grass again. Fusion can't help but just become a lawnmower. And we're going to go to... Let's drop down the bottom here. Let's have a look here. Oh yeah, it's Jabba and 6 in the Fast and the Furious inspired cars. Brian or Bullet, if you've watched the films, Bullet, and you know we hope he drives more like Bullet and a little less like Paul. You know, nobody wants this race to go up in flames, and if you got that reference, I apologise for my very out of touch joke. However, it is a fucking nice livery, and I swore and I apologise, but it is good. Look here, so Jabba's just sitting at P22 at the moment. Sherlock just ahead of him. Sherlock, an absolute veteran of the controller, but it is strange to see him so low, so far down. Usually we find Sherlock in the around the mid-table, but right now looks like he's struggling just to put a lap together in the Honda around Indianapolis. Just want to have a quick check and nothing's changed up ahead. Mathiasen, Hex is still there. Yeah, Varga, Javsevsky has moved his way to P5 and he's put himself up above Jordan Lake. And then Varga goes into P3, so he's improved on his lap and he takes the second row off of Javsevsky. And Jordan Lake is a little bit up in his lap, but nothing insane at the moment. I don't think it'd be enough, you know, it wouldn't be enough to take P5, sorry, off Javsevsky at the moment. Grzezic Grzezic is not only behind Jordan Lake in the qualifying right now, but also on track. So Grzezic maybe might sneak a little bit of slipstream maybe off his rival here. Getting close enough. You might feel a bit of dirty air though. You don't want to stay too close. You throw your car off a little bit. Like, what was it? Jordan Lake throwing the AR biscuit in commemoration of a driver that used to be here quite often. I don't see much of him anymore, unfortunately. But the biscuit, Mr. ERS himself. It's not an ACC with us at the moment. And Jovanovski is still holding pole position with the 134.9. And we're now at the end of it. And I don't think Angel's doing another lap. I think that's it for Angel. So now we're all basically relying on the people that are at the moment. So Jordan Lake sits himself into P6. That'll be him done now. No more laps in it for Jordan. And then yeah, the likes of Angel and Schroeder sitting in the pit, so they're content with where they are. They don't think they can improve anymore, nor do they have the time to. Vargas sitting in P3, and Fusion is still on track. I think we're looking for number 55, Metnich, who is also on track, but he's 4 tenths behind his faster lap, so I don't think he'll be going anywhere. But Fusion is 3 tenths up, drops down to 2 tenths. On these last few corners, he really needs to get a good exit here. He only needs less than a tenth, and he's lost it all in the last 2 corners. That could have put him above Greshik, but instead he just sits in P8, and Fusion doesn't move from P8. He stays right there. Greshik will be celebrating that one corner there. Tomanen, the last man on track, 10th up, and he might just steal P9 from Esposito, and he does. And there we go, boys. Angel P1, I mean, you can see it all on the left there. Schroeder P2. This will be an interesting start from 2 of the fastest drivers there. It's going to be a long hour of some good old battling. Ooh, have a nice stretch. Ooh, ooh. Ooh. It is warm in here, guys. It is super warm. I'm in like an aired out big room, and it is still warm. I'm in the shade, and it's still warm. It's insane. So let's see if we okay, so we are. There we go. The race will be on the way really soon as our drivers get the setups ready for this hour-long race. There is a mandatory of 1 pit stop, so strategy will be. I don't know if strategy will be key in this. It usually is. You do find that the pit stops actually make a massive difference. Even something as small as being a little bit out of alignment of the pit could cost you a bit of time, enough to lose a position. So hopefully our drivers will have their strategies all down to a T to maximize. What is it, Christopher? What is going on? Is that 30 in the Audi, sitting in 23rd behind Big Jabber? Good lord. Good lord. What a fall from grace. Can you believe that's one of our top F1 drivers? Can you believe it? I can't. I can't believe that. Has to be fake. What are they saying here? Ah, yeah, Brains with a little warning there. I will be looking. I'll be looking, guys. No cutting track. You see, I see you all the way down there, buddy. Actually, it's kind of hard to see you. There's so many people today. It's hard to see you down there, to be honest, pal. But obviously, we're going to start with Angel P1 in the Red Bull livery. And that's it, guys. Careful, turn 1. You know, you don't win a race off the first turn, is what they say. But a good start always does set you up nicely for the race. So I'm always a little bit, you know, a little bit aggressive. I mean, you gotta be. Although, please drive safely, guys. Don't crash. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to see you all crash. Turn 1 better be nice. Okay, I'm back commentating. I expect premium levels of racing. Yeah, the setup's going on now. And the 2 front runners are in Hondas. P1, P2, followed by 2 Ferraris. And then you got Josh Jastrzebski's Nissan. Jordan Lake in a Ferrari, Grejek in a McLaren. It is a nice mix of cars in this top 10. You got a little Porsche sitting in there as well. And here we go. Angel will start off the rolling start to do a full lap of the races, warming the tyres up. Varga doesn't want to wait the full lap. He looks raring to go. Just be heating their tyres up, guys, and get that perfect temperature to get the best start you can. And it is crazy, honestly, to see so many drivers. I mean, I wish there was a way of like kind of looking out a bit more, but so many turning up today is nice. Ooh, good job, you can go 3 people. There's a lot of craziness going on in the back here. Look at that. You know, that is actually such a cool livery. I actually mess it up big time. It's good. It's cool. It's cool to look at. It's a shame that it's all the way at the back of the field, though. Alright. Angel representing the Huts Gaming logo on the front of his Honda. Respect. That's what you call a true loyalist. It's kind of crazy to see Angel's so high up as well. Not because I've ever doubted him, but it's gone from a mid-table racer in terms of ACC to now fighting for, well, the championship of Huts Gaming League. So it's always nice to see that evolution happen, the progress. Shows put a bit of practice in. Don't matter who you are, you can always contend. And these two, I think, going to give us a great start to this race. Hopefully, I get all this helicam because the noise of that helicam behind my ear hole is slightly jarring. Right, coming round now to the last corner. See how turn 1 ends up. This could be a little bit sticky, especially with how sharp turn 1 is. I'm hoping, I got my fingers crossed, you all get through there safely. But the race is about to start, guys. And it's lights out and away we go. And it's a good start from Angel. He just holds that lead just ahead of Schroeder. He's not lost it. Vinegar looking on the inside. Will he be daring enough to take that opportunity? The brakes are coming on. We're going into a dangerous turn 1. There's a little bit of bumping from door to door, but nothing crazy. There's a few people dropping down here and there. There's no crashes I can see just as of yet, but we're seeing... I think he's have done it. I think he's have done... Well done, guys. Let's have a look here. Well done, guys. That is fantastic. And that's what we love to see. Oh, McLaren just going off in the back there. It might be a bit of a dangerous re-entry, but Jovanovski holds the lead. Schroeder close behind. Varga sitting behind Schroeder. Grzic making the move on Tomanen, who I think might have got a, yeah, he did. He got the, oh, and there goes one of the brothers, and I think it's not Jabba, but it's Big Six. No, and that is, oh dear. And before we know, Sixers now done. He's done the Paul Walker. He smashed it. We're just lucky the car hasn't set on fire. But in the first lap, he's already binned it. And that's hard to watch. And Varga just close up on Schroeder there. Looking for any sort of mistake or opportunity to take a dive in. There's definitely plenty of corners to do it. Gets a bit of slipstream down this long straight now. I wonder how powerful slipstream is here. Is there an opportunity for that? I mean, maybe the slipstream's not too strong. Job. Oh, short up late, a little bit late breaks Varga. Both around the same pace it looks. There's no movement here. Saliovic. Malaya takes the inside with the Porsche. Goes for the old switcheroo. Goes around the outside. He can't quite cut it, but can he cut back on the inside? He can't. Malaya manages to hold that overtake with the better exit. And now Saliovic is under pressure from Bragg, the red and black and slightly yellow McLaren just behind him. Lock fourth from behind there. You see Tomanen's making a move on, I think, Sherlock. Sherlock comes to the inside. The Audi gets pushed on the outside. Tomanen loses the back a little bit, but he holds it. And it is Surrey there fighting with Tomanen. He needs it. Sherlock goes off and he spins, and everybody's avoided him. Stay still, Sherlock. He doesn't know what. Everyone's just not being able to see Sherlock there for the last second, but we're still safe. There's a little bit of a bump there. I think Jabba going door to door with Grzic. Seedle just behind. He's still holding it ahead. Holding that position there. He's pretty strong, and I'm ignoring everything else for this bottom fight, but it is so entertaining back here. It's hard to look away. Grzic, Seedle 3 wide almost. Then he gets pushed wide by Seedle. Plenty of space, comes on the inside, little tight squeeze, gets pushed out, keeps it on track, but then Surrey comes back on the inside. Grzic looking through the middle, he's not going to be able to do it. And I apologise to whoever followed there, and I've not been able to see it. I will call you out in a second. Surrey loses out to Seedle, but Grzic also, and Grzic as well, this straight coming down now, takes that position, sits in, and now he just got Jabba sitting behind Surrey. And oh god, that was an intense few corners there, wasn't it? Hey, that was something else. That was something a bit crazy. Oh, the last thing came a little bit squeezed out there. I'm just going to be back to the top again real quick until things start potentially kicking back off. Nothing changed at the top. I would go as far to say that these boys are all that off around the same pace. I can't imagine. I think the only thing to separate these guys is maybe a slight mistake, or it takes it one corner for one of these guys to take an opportunity, and they won't be relaxed about it. They will be aggressive, and if it does pop up, they will take it. A lot of dirt kicking up there on people's tyres. This track does have, it doesn't have a lot of runoff. Not loads, at least not on those type of corners. End up in the dirt. That could potentially be the end of your race. We're going to move down now because nothing's quite changing up here. Mathiasen holds, well, I mean, you got Angel P1, Schroeder P2. Schroeder holding the fastest lap with a 135.6. Varga holds P3. Mathiasen in P4. Jastrzebski P5. Jordan Lake sitting behind as well. He's under pressure from the likes of his good friend Fusion, who is looking for the slipstream, looking on the inside. Will he make a move? He has to make a move. Surely he breaks later. Goes for the inside. Jordan allows it to happen, potentially looking for a switchery, but it just wasn't there. There was a lot of grip on that Lexus. So that Conor Villa has a great overtake by Fusion. It's it seems now there's more consistency within the race as opposed to the qualifying for Fusion, which is good. And now he's making a little gap. He's got some work to do. 2-second gap between him and Jastrzebski ahead, but he'll be under pressure from the likes of Jordan Lake and our own actual racer in this disgusting Bentley. This is potentially the worst livery I've ever seen in my entire life, and I've seen some pretty bad ones. But he holds P8 at the moment. Big up Pookie. Esposito is 5 seconds behind that front pack there, and he's Porsche with Malaya, and they look like they might be on the same team. I'm thinking with the tyres and stuff that might be a little team between Esposito and Malaya there, both driving the same car. The Ferrari of Sailovic behind, followed by Bragg. Metnich follows 2 seconds behind, then the Audi Tomanen, and we have a overtake over here, and B is Brains, if I remember correctly, in the Aston Martin. He makes an overtake on 6, and 6 is dropping down massively. Even with that little bit of damage on the front, 6 is still somehow racing here. Like, fair play. Like, he's not allowed any sort of damage to ruin his race despite the flickering lights. And Schlowick, and there's a little bit of a fight here. Bellini makes the pass on Jabba, and I didn't quite get to see it, unfortunately. It's a nice little livery he's got there. Jabba will follow the slipstream of Bellini. And you see a little bit of fight here between Pennings and Hex. And I'm wondering if Brains has it in him to make this jump. Will he do it? Late break by Brains. He does it. He makes the move. That's the bravest move I've seen for a bit. He holds the cord. He doesn't let Pennings past. He shuts the door entirely. What an overtake by Brains that was. Well done, Brains. Now he's just got to hold it. And that was the bravest thing ever. Well done, Brains. Well, that was good to watch. And now Brains would sit in 20th, and all we ask of him now is keep them laps consistent. However, door to door there of Fabrizio and Pennings, and I don't think that was malicious of any sort. He touches the grass a little bit as well. I think they're two on different racing lines, and he might just got a bit caught up in that there. And 6 takes advantage of that little door-to-door banging and takes the position from Pennings. And there is someone I cannot find, and it is Surrey, who sits all the way back here. And I'm not sure what happened, but he does make the overtake. Oh, he doesn't make the overtake. Sherlock makes the stick on the outside. He says, absolutely not. You need more practice if you want to race with me. Says Sherlock. Oh, he spins! He spins the tire. Oh, the F1 expert just can't quite pull off the same form on ACC. And that puts in dead last. Unfortunately, Team Malaya has made an overtake. And I'm going to flash back 15 seconds. I want to have a quick look at that. You can see now down the straight line, Malaya sits in behind. And he just goes for it. And that is probably a little bit rough. I don't know if it was rough enough to make a complaint of, but I'm sure he'd be fine. He saw the door was there, he took it, and now we are starting to see not a massive gap, but a gap. You're not right. You are right, so to speak. That was Buzz Lightyear, but like not even in the nice way, you know? Like an ugly way. Nothing changed at the top, apart from the gap seems to be forming now between Angel and Schroeder. It's not massive, but for the course of 50 more minutes, it could be huge. He just has to build on this gap and keep up the consistency and pace. He is pulling out now the fastest lap on track so far. Let's say that he takes a lot of curb there. He might have lost a little bit. Pressure is all on Angel now to keep this position.
The pit is now open.
And the pit window is now open for the drivers to go into. And so now it all comes down to strategy. Who will go when? I'm more of a bit of a medium guy. I like to go for the 30-minute marker because I feel like, why wouldn't you, right? Schroeder just, I think maybe getting on the power on the exit there. A bit too much of it in the back. Just left him a little bit, and it's allowed Varga to just get a little bit closer and potentially sniff at a P2 opportunity to take. And Tayson finds himself dropping quite far behind the front three, but I think we made this call earlier that the front three will probably gap off from those behind. I think the qualifying was pretty much of an indication of this result anyway. Jastrzewski follows behind. Fusion making good ground on Jastrzewski, whilst also making a bit of a gap between him and Jordan Lake. But if Jordan Lake is anything, it's consistent, and his desire to win and be the best is it's probably a cut above the rest, if not the same. So I'm sure he won't give up on chasing Fusion. And Pookie still sits behind in the Bentley. It's a brave choice of car. I think no matter what the balancing is in this game, the Bentley will always be a bit of a weird car to drive. The delivery's shocking. I can't get over it. Esposito is 7 seconds behind Pookie, or Van Bunker, which is the name you guys would have seen. I think his teammate is being pressured by Sailovic, and Malaya probably see Sailovic in his rear mirror. Things look closer than they may appear, but for Malaya they do not. Sailovic is behind him, and at any moment he could make the move. He looks like he's about to, and it ends up with him getting a little bit too close and having to back off a bit, and that might have put himself in contention of being taken over by the likes of Bragg. But I think all that might have done was back up a little bit, and you gotta start with like a little mid-pack train, which is always the way. I love these little mid-pack trains. This is where you find the most fighting, the most, I don't want to say mistakes, but sometimes you just see something being a little bit advantageous happening in these trains, and before you know it, all hell breaks loose, and you've got yourself some good little battling going on. So we're just gonna skip down this little train here, and Seidel is 10 seconds behind the train that we were just previously on, followed by Bellini, who's got a massive second. So Seidel is just in a race of his own, really. He's just 10 seconds in front of people. 10, and I see a number 11 has crashed. Is it 11? Who's that? No, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? That is someone exiting the race. I see things happening and I cannot find it, and it's Metternich, and I just want to have a quick look at what might have happened here. Metternich looks like a big dive for Toman, and two people just get caught. It looked as if that was Toman's fault, to be honest. Metternich, I don't think that was I think that was just a late break issue. I don't think that was Metternich's fault at all there. I think he's just potentially just caught up in something he didn't want to, and fortunately for Metternich, now he's lost a few positions, and Tomanen did give the position back, which is respectful of him, I think. And we were talking about Seidel earlier, who was 10 seconds, and I think Seidel made a mistake and found himself to be now at the back of the mid-pack that we were looking at. And Bellini, Schlowick will race against one another. Schlowick touching the grass, losing the car, but 6 is still in contention. I don't know how he's done it with all the damage to the car. The pit stop might be long. He gets a way better exit than Brains. He's in the slipstream, goes around the outside, and it looked much closer to this. Brains takes the inside. 6 looking for a different exit. He does get a better one, finds something outside. The old switcheroo, is it on for 6? And it might be. Brains holding on for dear life. You don't know which line to take, but regardless, it's put 6 in a position to potentially take 19th off of him. Oh, and Brains cuts on the inside. He went to defend. 6 on the outside. Will he be able to do it? Will he break later? He breaks, but I think he's on a different line now. So Brains outside. Oh, good bit of battling here, boys. Got some good racing. Sherlock Tourmaline goes out. He's out. He looks like he's given up, or he's either pitted, or he's given up. Fabrizio had to drive through. 6 is still on the tail of Brains. He won't let him go. And 6, despite the I guess lack of consistency, sometimes has these golden moments where all of a sudden becomes a prime Michael Schumacher, and I don't know what it is. He's just he unlocks this potential. He's like All Might. You gotta go above and beyond. And I don't really want to. Oh, Schlowick makes the pass on Bellini. That puts him in P16. I don't want to drop this little fight here. The 6 looks like he is not giving up, and Brains is doing fantastic to just stop him from overtaking on these corners, planting that car perfectly to not allow that to happen. And 6 will be in the slipstream again. And will it be enough for him to make the overtake? He sits there, he's waiting for the opportunity, but I don't think it's going to come to him. And he doesn't, not yet. And I don't want to leave just in case we miss it. But I gotta look at the top boys at least for a second, as Angel still holds P1 as we now peter off into a nighttime race halfway through this race. I think by the 35th minute we're probably looking at pitch black racing, which might change the whole dynamic of the race. There might be some people who are better in racing in the dark than they are in the day, and maybe their strategies are more suited, maybe their setups are more suited to the night race. You never know. So hopefully we see a change of something soon. And just as all those gaps are happening, I'm seeing Fusion caught my eye on the right there as we were looking at deltas, and Fusion is just on the back of Jastrzewski as he's made a bigger gap on Jordan Lake. And we said he had a bit of work to do, and it looks like he's put in the time, he's put in the effort, and Jastrzewski looks as if he might lose this position to a much faster Fusion, who, quite similar to 6, has these golden moments where all of a sudden just becomes an absolute beast. The only problem with ACC is you don't have these moments like in F1. You can open up the DRS, the wing flap, and you get these really like quick overtakes. As soon as you hit the straight, whether you've been overtaken. But in ACC, you've got to set this up over a course of a whole couple of laps. You can't. There's not much opportunity for someone who's good at driving in front of you and is good at defending. It's hard to get past, so you have to set up the overtake. Your laps have to be consistent, and then you have to get to the point where that overtake is basically opens up for you to take. And Jastrzewski is just trying to close that inside off as Fusion is burning it down the line. They look door to door. Fusion breaks late. He takes the position on the inside, closes off Jastrzewski, and there's nothing he could do. He's left there like a deer in headlights. Fusion takes that from him, says bye. I will be taking P5, and now the charge is on for Matthijsen Hex. Fusion not messing around this race. He wants them positions. He'll take all the points he can get, and Jordan, unfortunately, is just dropping a bit behind, and I don't think Jastrzewski's going to let Fusion go off that quick. But it's only a matter of time if we're going off Fusion's last few laps. An absolute charge and attack on the top 6. And Malaya, Sejlovic just behind there. Only a second behind. The gaps are beginning to form a bit now between each driver as opposed to the packs. And as we say that, we have unfortunately missed the overtake Big Six and Brains, and I apologize, Six, this should have been your moment, but it did get pretty nice up there. And when a Six has made the overtake, it has allowed Sherlock to get involved, and he looks on the outside, but he can't quite do it. On that twitchy controller, you can always tell. He looks on his side, Brains, well, maybe his back tire was going to hit Sherlock's front. The different lines sometimes can cause quite a bit of a knock-on effect. He looks on inside Sherlock. Brains puts his car in a place of defense, but the gap is there to take, but he doesn't take it. Sherlock is trying to set up something a little bit more, a little bit clearer for himself. And it won't be on these chicanes, but it might be on the exit. Way better exit from Sherlock, gets the run in, takes the inside, and Brains doesn't stand a chance against that Honda's accelerated exit speed, and he just sits the car perfectly, not allowing Brains to make the comeback. And what an overtake that was by Sherlock, and now he will have to follow one of his older rivals, Big Six and Schlowick. And oh, it's Pookie gone into the pit, and I think Pookie might be the first one to pit. And if anyone's got a winning strategy to put themselves in a better position, it would be the man who literally drives on these tracks in real life to do so. So big up Pookie, by the way. You're doing great, buddy. It's nice seeing you out there doing what you love, and it's always nice seeing you coming back here and putting it on the sim as well. I'm just going to take a quick drink as Pookie exits here, because boy, all this talking has got my dry as hell. Yep, and that would be Pookie's mandatory pit stop done, and he comes out at the side of Fusion. He'll have to give way a little bit, and it's a long pit stop as opposed to the lap. He's finding himself in a bit of a bad place here for the likes of Jastrzewski, who now has to find his way past Pookie, which might back him up slightly into Jordan Lake. And a Fusion has definitely had the advantage here in where the likes of Pookie has come out. And what I always find as well, it's always, oh, Metternich, I think that's Hackinson coming for the pits, and Metternich takes that position. Hackinson comes down, Siegel's coming for his. Big Six has made the gap on Sherlock, and Six is making quite the remarkable charge. I mean, he was nearly last place, and now he finds himself looking at a potential P14. Now, I made the Paul Walker comment, but we might actually have Brian here. Bullet might be here. He takes that P14 from Bellini's mistake, and Sherlock comes charging behind Bellini now as well, and so all it takes is to lose a few positions in here, is that one minor mistake going off track. You can see now Pookie is making some positions back on those who have pitted after him, and Jastrzewski has still not found a way to make the pass. And although the blue flag is there, if he is not in contention of slowing you down, which I don't think Pookie out of all people isn't, he can sit there all he wants. It's no problem to him. I would honestly argue that Pookie is probably one of the faster racers here, and this is probably where he should be. I think maybe a late qualifying put him in the position that he was in the first place. So in terms of Pookie, this guy is going pretty well for him right now. We'll see what he keeps doing. Bellini drops down. He goes into the pit, allowing the Big Six, no brain, sorry, and Sherlock to go past. Big Six still holds his lead on those two drivers. And Six now has to close 7 seconds on Schlowick if he wants any chance at the likes of P13 or So, and we're going to the top now, and Schroeder and Varga have decided to make their pits, whereas Angel has decided to stay out. And we're going to find out whether or not that was a good choice or a bad choice soon, because we don't know whether or not there's an undercut or an overcut in this track, and that might make the difference for the outcome of the whole race itself. But Angel's still putting in consistent laps. Pardon me. Now we are in the place now where we don't quite know where people are at until they've made their pit stop. There's a lot of switching of positions. Makes it a little bit difficult to keep up with what's happening. And to the 6 viewers that are in here, hello. Hello. Appreciate you guys coming and popping in. Oh yeah, I did say. Quick second, guys. Oh, Speaker, was you followed. Thank you for following, Speaker, buddy. Appreciate that. If you're still here, always appreciate the follow. If you know anyone who likes racing, swinging this way. Be every Thursday, at least it should be. And we're gonna get back to the racing now. As we left ourselves in Fusion, who's in P3, but it's not the official P3. It's the I forget the name of it. But all the same, Matthewson, who hasn't pit, and Fusion now is making that overtake. It's on fresher tyres. It should be an easy job. And Fusion still hasn't pitted. And he's got Pookie just sitting behind him. Or Van Bunker, should I say. Sorry, Tyson doesn't look to give up that position all too easy. And that is spun Fusion out massively. And we find ourselves in a massive crash. And oh, the charge was on for Fusion. And this has set him back massively. And that will definitely not Fusion's fault, I think. Sometimes it gets a little bit close out there, and that's a shame for Fusion. That's a big setback. But we were talking about mistakes creating opportunities, and the only person I could think of that can capitalize this on massively is Pookie. Every time Van Bunker just slowly creeping. I feel he's my dark horse. I have a feeling. I have a feeling that Van Bunker is going to climb up these. Because he's quicker than Jastrzewski. He's making the gap now. Which is obviously indication that potentially Pookie should be in at least the top 4-5 places if we're going off current pace. So the undercut and waiting for everybody else to pit now might be. We'll see where Van Bunker leads. And we're talking about him, and he gets a little bit wide there, but no sweat. Don't lose too much. Does lose a few attempts actually. Just gets to get a little bit closer again after that mistake. The bigger the gap he can get to Jastrzewski, the more chance he has of potentially racing him in the future. Oh, near the end of this race. As he sits in P1, but Jastrzewski hasn't pit yet, and neither has Jordan Lake. And just taking a bit of a nice stretch. Angel coming out the pits now, and what we've got to look for above anything is, will Angel get out before Schroeder gets there? And Schroeder's coming down now. He's coming down the straight. Angel's there. Are they neck and neck? I can't tell. That's Schroeder. And Angel gets out ahead of Schroeder just about. He's not far off. So lucky for Angel, there was no crazy amount of undercut, which would have allowed Schroeder to take P1 from under his nose there. So luckily for Angel, and unluckily for Schroeder, that strategy hasn't worked maybe as well as he probably wanted him to. And with that as well, Angel probably will have the nicer tires towards the end of the race, and Schroeder just throwing it down that right side there. He's got a few of the midfield racers, and they don't have to move. This isn't a blue flag. This isn't a lapping. This is racing now. So, but Schroeder is that guy, and he will brake much later and accelerate out much faster than the majority of this grid, and he's on for a flyer of a lap as well. So charges on, and Schlowick being in between Angel allowed him to create a bit of a gap of around 1.4 seconds to hopefully cement that P1 for him, and there's 28 minutes left of this race. So he's got a lot to do. That's Brains coming out, and he puts himself almost in front of, and Schroeder keeps finding himself just behind, not so much back markers, but slower cars on the exit of these pits. And it's helping Angel form a gap. He's just getting all the luck. Not accidentally slipping behind these midfield racers. And I think the majority have pitted now. So we are starting to see the actual racer positions now starting to form as Esposito goes into P1, but he hasn't pitted yet either. And 6 in P9, followed by Sherlock, who has closed the gap. And 6 does have a bit of damage, so maybe his pit stop might be a little bit longer than Sherlock's. Sherlock's blowing it down that straight. The straight line speed of that Honda was ridiculous. Like, you see the put on the turbo. Maybe Sherlock does have DRS. That was absolutely insane. And both these cars go to pit, and we'll find out their position when they come back. But Sherlock managed to just make that overtake just before the pit, putting him in a great position now to stay ahead of 6, who might just have a bit of a longer pit stop. And Esposito now holding P1, but the likes of Esposito and Bragg have not pit yet, and Angel still on the lead by 1.6 seconds, followed by Schroeder. Varga finds himself way behind now. Very far behind. He was not far at all. I think maybe there might have been a bit of a kerfuffle of sorts, or a mistake maybe made. That's allowed him to drop down massively from the likes of, oh god, the P1 and P2 position, and Javasevsky 4 seconds off of Varga, followed by Jordan Lake 6.7 seconds in the Ferrari. Matthijssen holds P8, and Pookie now sits in P9. And closing, is that Matthijssen? Is that literally right in front of him? It is. So, no, it's not. It's Penning's Hex. So it's Matthijssen's teammate. And I just want to see, is Penning's? Yeah, he's a blue flag. So I'm hoping there's no dirty trickery work here from the likes of the Hex team. I don't think there will be, but you know, it gets a bit worrying, right? He's got a flash, he's got to move out of the way. Otherwise, you are in contention of slowing him down. And now the position's all starting to fall back into place. Pookie just got to make this pass now. hopefully, yeah, he just gives him the position there. And that was very, very good of Pennings. And now Puki's on the charge for Matthijssen, as he now slips into P8 from the pit stop of Bragg. And what we're looking at here is that Esposito hasn't pit yet, and he holds P1. So, oh, Schroeder has closed the gap massively on Angel. And we got ourselves a race now, as Schloik moves out the way for the two front runners. And the pressure's on. And this is the harshness of traffic being that's introduced into these races, especially when you have more drivers on the track. You will there'll be a lot of opportunities for Schroeder to take, or even Angel to either create or shorten that gap between the two of them. Vargas fell far behind. Schloik is being followed by Bellini, and we're looking at P17 and P18. Big Six has fell from his pit stop. He'd be behind Sherlock, but because he's had the repairs done, he does find himself pretty far down. But if he were to keep the form that he was holding, those overlaps, he could still find himself 100% into a good position here. And he has pit a little bit later than some of the drivers, so his tyres will be a lot fresher. He's got a fresh car, all the damage is repaired, so this should be probably feeling a lot easier to drive, probably feeling a lot quicker as well. And you can see him just absolutely closing down that gap on the likes of Hackinson and Brains. Brains is pretty far out. And the closest gap that we do have is the actual P1, P2, because Esposito will be taking a pit stop soon. And I'm gonna yawn, I'm sorry guys. Oh god. It's my old age catching up to me. Ooh. Pressure's on massively for Angel as he's chased down by Schroeder. And it's one person I'd hate to have behind me a whole race, it would be Schroeder. Absolutely relentless. And every time you think that he might be getting slower, somehow he just finds more pace somewhere else. There's a great understanding of what he needs to improve on the track mid-race, which separates him massively from a lot of other racers. Gonna go down the order a bit. Vargas still falling behind. Dress escapes in his own race at the moment. Not massively far away from Jordan Lake, but you could probably afford a little bit of a tank slapper or something. He'd be absolutely fine. And Jordan Lake with Matthijssen behind him. And Puki, the dark horse, creeping up the field. Followed by Grejic, Sailovic, and Fusion is back with a vengeance as he chases down Sailovic. And I'm going to guess that Fusion was quicker. He's looking for the opportunity to take. Sailovic fighting for his life. He's blinking, he's saying, I'm faster, get out the way. And this is the mind games from the torpedo. And he goes for it. And I think he was let through. I think Sailovic said, yeah, I can see where you're faster. However, that has allowed Malaya to creep in. Or is it Malaya? No, it's Esposito of P1 who's found himself behind, but nonetheless, Malaya has gone a little bit closer to Sailovic for slowing down. And Big Six is closing the gap on Brains, who I think has made a mistake, because I'm pretty sure Hackerson was ahead there. So now 6 is back on his charge. And you can see Brains ahead of him again now, and I think that is Jordan Lake. And with Brains having to slow down for the likes of Jordan to let him pass. Oh, 6, he's also being chased by another back, one of the front runners. So he'll have to cough up a spot as well. Slow down at some point to let... Oh, sorry guys. To allow Mateusen in. I need a coffee. What I need. Because John's killing me. No, I'm sorry, buddy. It gets dark here, and I'm starting to feel it really. The heat gets to you. It's warm, man. It tuckers me out. I told you I'm an unk now, bro. I'm tired. Ooh, let's sit up straight. Let's. Ugh. Right. Ooh, right. Let's back at it. Esposito still not took the pit option. I hope for his sake he knows that he has to do it. Or maybe just P1 just feels so good to sit in that he thinks, why not just stay here? Why not? Jovanovski still sits P1, and there has been a massive gap formed between Angel and Schroeder, and I can't help but think that something has happened with a bit of traffic. Unfortunately, I wasn't there to see it. I was probably snoozing if we're going off the recent yawns. But it seems like he's dropped down a bit, and that's a lot of targets to get a little bit close, but definitely not in contention of taking that potential P2 spot from the likes of Jefferson Skevsky. Is slowly creeping on the likes of Varga now. I think that gap was a little bit bigger earlier. He finds himself a little bit closer, and these charges being made by the whole field, and that is Hackerson getting out of the way for his teammate. He knows when to get out of the way. And I assume they're teammates because they have Hex in the name, but they do have different cars, so maybe they're just part of the same little group of friends, which is always nice to see. A little on-track respect between these two guys. He moves out of the way quickly for the likes of Mateusen to make that charge, and Mateusen is quicker than John Lake at the moment with a lap of 136.4 as opposed to Jordan's 137.2, which is looking to put John Lake at a bit of a risk of losing that P6 to Mateusen, as Van Bunker is sits behind kind of his own race, really. 9 seconds behind Mateusen, 5 seconds ahead of Grezhik. There isn't any, not looking as if there's any opportunity to climb up the standings just yet. He's going to be hoping that maybe something happens, something pops up at the front. You never know with racing. It's definitely possible for something to happen at any time, and there's already blinks coming from Van Bunker to Brains. He's not messing around when he says get out the goddamn way. There's something to take from here. With it being Pookie, he probably gets his wish pretty quick, and I have missed another overtake from 6. I'm sorry, 6. I'm letting you down, buddy. I keep missing your golden moments, and I apologize. But Esposito has finally pitted, and I'd love to know where this sits him. He went for the longest stint of anybody in this race, and I wonder if he's benefited from it. You know, he does have Lake going past him. I'm thinking he might end up behind Van Bunker here. He does, and even Grezhik might even take an opportunity. Yep, there goes Van Bunker. Yep, there goes Grezhik now. He's dropping down. Even will Fusion get a go of it? He's bombing it down. Esposito is allowed to go now. He takes the corner. The Fusion, unfortunately, is too far behind to take advantage of that extremely late pit stop. But that's Pookie moving up the field a little bit more and a little bit more. And he's just harvesting the points slowly. And Salievich with Malaya behind him. This is the closest. This is the closest gap now that we've got on the field, as Angel is making a getaway. And 13 minutes of the race left. I don't want to give the commentator's curse, but I think he's in a safe place to win this now. It's all on Angel's shoulders to not make the mistake and to keep going, keep the consistency up. You're in flow state. There's no reason to drop it. And I hope his ears aren't burning with me talking about him. As Schroeder, he was so close and in striking opportunity to take P1 from Angel, found himself now 12 seconds behind, which is a massive gap. This might shake up the standings a little bit. And obviously these guys will know. We'll have to figure this out. Maybe off stream, or maybe if I can see it in time, if it's quick to give me the results and the current standings, I could definitely reel off the top 10 again, hopefully. Varga still holding 10 seconds behind Schroeder. Jastrzewski losing out. He was 2.4. He now drops that down to 4.0 behind Varga. Jordan Lake staying in the same place, but Mathiasen is now on the back of Jordan Lake and looks as if he wants that P5 just a little bit more. And I always found the Ferraris to be quite difficult. Not difficult to drive, but the tyres always seem to give out quite easily depending on your driving style. But Tyson absolutely sends it. I feel like he wanted to brake so much late to close that gap, that what's happened is he's gone off a bit now and he's just lost all of that work and all that progress he's made on Jordan Lake. And this can be the difference sometimes. I don't know Tyson enough to know, but what I do know of Jordan Lake is that he's cool as a cucumber when it comes to racing. And he won't let you put the fear into him. He won't move aside. You've got to get past the likes of Jordan. You need to have a good move and make it stick, and it needs to be solid. Otherwise, he will take the opportunity to either fight back or take that position back from you. So, Mathiasen, if you want to make this overtake, you got to make it a good one. And it's got to be. It can't be no clumsy jumping. You won't allow it. As you say that, Mathiasen does close that gap again now. As Jordan goes a little bit wide on those last two corners. It's allowed Mathiasen to get back so quickly to take that from him. Down there to Bellini, who has, I want to see what that writing says on the top of his car there. I wonder if there's a better way of seeing it. There's the helicam. It's something Huts. What are you? Let me see. Here we go. Oh, then show me. I hate this. I can't see it. What does that say? Thank you, Huts. Oh, ain't that nice? Hey, well, thank you, Bellini. Thank you. Hey, thank you for turning up today. Thank you for being here. That's what it's all about. Turning up, and we appreciate more than what he could possibly think. And Pookie finding himself now in having to take the back markers, as Six has made a decent little charge on Hackinson here and Bellini. So So now we can find 6, maybe fighting for these positions. And I've just seen Metternich go up there. I just want to quickly see what that overtake was. This is Metternich now behind, I think, his teammate. And his teammate goes a little bit wide there, allowing Metternich to come in. I thought maybe that was an overtake, but maybe it's a little bit of teamwork from the two. I think these two teams, they're in the same car. I can only assume they're teams. But basically, it looked like he allowed the faster racer to go through. And we are back on 6 now. Used a blue marker for the likes of Grezhik. And at some point, he's got to let him pass. He is blinking the lights to then do so. But the charge for 6 is right there. So it is a difficult... Oh, this could definitely be reported as you are holding up. This is the difficult part. You see, you have to let him through. Yeah, there we go. Goes wide for him. No, that was a bit silly. That was very silly. Can't help but feel like that might have been intentional on 6, which just isn't on, to be honest. But 6 is looking to take advantage of Hackinson slowing down quite a bit around that few corners there. Trying to have a look here now. Jordan Lake and Tyson still close race at the top for P5. And despite Matesa being on the back of Jordan Lake for so long, it's exactly what I said about Jordan Lake. You have to set it up. There is no move here which you just lunge into clumsily and take it from him. It will have to be set up. He knows where to place the car. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to race. He's an F1 champion. In Huts, that is. Just to clarify. Okay, guys. Not in real life. Not to take you down there, Jordan, but you know what I mean. Huts champion. So he'll know down well where to place that car. He's not a stranger to racing at all. And you know, there's not much going on now with the last 6 minutes of the race to go. I'm gonna get out of this telecom. I know you play all. Hey, goodbye. Can we do a donation goal to buy me a Spooker? Okay. When they do a donation for me, yeah, to get something, you know, the commentator, right, then we'll do something for you. Yeah? I feel like that's fair. That's about as fair as it gets. But mate, I was looking at some today, actually, to be honest. Yeah, I'm beyond tempted. From a boo, whatever, dude. We're all poor. Have you not seen the world lately? Huh? We're all poor. Get a job. I'm joking. I'm joking, of course. But I was definitely looking at some today, thinking about coming back. Obviously, I'll still be doing commentary, but I was definitely thinking about coming back to doing a bit of racing. I do miss it. Do miss it a lot. Well, I was thinking about doing I was thinking of doing it's like a Ramosa, and I was thinking about just paying it off monthly. Might take a while, but instead of forking out 400 quid for it, it's nice doing little installments in it. Just have it there. Alright, and we 6 is still back to the race anyway. Okay. I think when it speaks of an LMU, by the way, Spooker. Don't want to get you excited, but I know a lot of people do enjoy the LMU in here, and I know I would as well if I had a wheel and stuff. So could potentially be a thing. And we're still on Big Six, Hackinson and Bellini, with Esposito trying to take over these back markers. And the confusing part here for these drivers is that they want to get past one another, but they've also got to allow Esposito to get through with the blue flag. And it's waving, and will they allow him? I think Six does. He makes it go wide, but now if Six can just hold on to the back of Esposito and just sit there and allow him to do all the work, there's no reason why Six can't take these 2 spots here, and he will, because Hackinson has a bit of a slip off track, and that allows Six to go straight through into P19. And now Bellini has a target on his back for Big Six. And Grzezic sitting behind Van Bunker, and I feel like I've missed an over... Oh no, maybe I've not. Maybe Grzezic has actually made the charge on the likes of Van Bunker. I'm pretty sure he was P7. Grzezic in the slipstream. I'm about to see he's faster on the straight. Even with the slipstream, the Grzezic can't quite get the speed he needs to make the opportunity. But he draws ever closer and closer. We're down now to the last 3 minutes of the race. Will they do it? Oh, it's as if he wanted. Grzezic wants this position so bad. He wants it so bad from Pookie, and he'll have to work for it. To cough up a position this close to the end is an awful feeling. And so now the fight for this position will be intense. Don't want to miss anything else as Bellini and Six comes on the inside, and that allows Six to take the position for Bellini, and he goes a little bit wide in that little 3 wide position there as Fusion trails past the likes of Six and Bellini through a blue flag, and Esposito is still lagging behind. I feel like it's a mistake. I've had a quick few sparks there from the car at the back as Six wants to use Fusion as a sort of catapult sorts down the straight. And what I always found in ACC, and it's a very nice thing to do, is you can match someone's pace in front if you just kind of stick to their driving line and their braking points. You find yourself kind of mimicking their driving style of sorts, and if they're faster than you, this can be super advantageous for like Six. You might want to incorporate that a little bit into the end of this to create a gap from the likes of Bellini and those behind him that he's worked so hard for to overtake. Last minute now, and that would put Angel in on his last lap in a second to win Indianapolis as he goes over to the final lap, and this is to win it all.
Leaders on final lap now,
and he would have deserved it. The gap that's been made, the consistency of the pace, the qualifying has not been a step wrong today from Angel's game, and he thoroughly deserves it massively. We'll just keep looking out for anything else, but we'll stick with Angel as he crosses the line if nothing else happens, as hopefully, let's have a look real quick like Pookie still being followed by Grzezic, Jordan Lake still being followed by Matthijsen, and these 2 drivers are finding it very difficult to pass the ones ahead. And both the likes of Lake and Pookie are both very capable drivers, so it'll be very difficult to pass him. And Matthijsen is going to probably look a little bit desperate now with the last lap. Will he find an opportunity to take? Will it be a lunge? And Lake will have to keep his wits about him, as that desperate calling might just come on any one of these corners, as Angel now comes around the second to last corner onto the penultimate one, and there's no one that can take this away from Angel. This has been the best drive that I've seen him do It's so good, so consistent. And he wins Indianapolis. Angel Jovanovski, the Pred in the Red Bull Honda. And what a race. And as a celebration, gives himself whiplash on the walls with a cool little skid and crash there. As Schroeder now comes round, we're going to quickly run back to Bunker, who has Grzic just behind him as Schroeder goes into P2. He finishes P2. Fine, Bunker still holding on to the last few corners. Varga in P3. I apologise. Oh, Grzic comes on the outside, tries to go for the switcheroo. Pookie holds him off. The last corner now. And then flat out, and I cannot see Grzic taking it from him. And Pookie and Jordan Lake both hold out their challenges in the last few laps, and that was fantastic defending there, boys. Massive. As Grzic goes into P8, Esposito looking to pick P10. Stailovic will come into P11, Malaya P12, Bragg P13 as Sherlock from the back comes to P14, Schlag P15, sixes consistent charges, puts him into P16, followed by Bellini, Parkinson, Fabrizio, Brains, and Pennington Text, and there were more, but I think that's it, boys. That's the race, and find ourselves in a little bumper off here between the drives of Sherlock and Angel. You know, there was some bits here and there, but overall it was some fantastic racing, and that would be Indianapolis. That's it, it's done. Race 2. Dunsies out of the way. I'm going to have a quick look to see if anyone might potentially send me something to look at. Let's have a look. That's the live events that I'm a part of. I suppose we'll have to look at the standings next time. But yeah, what a race, guys. Thank you, Speaker, for being here. It's nice to have a bit of company on these hour-long racing rants. It's how they feel. But that would be race 2 at Indianapolis. Done. With the winner being Angel, Schroeder following P2, and Varga on 3 as the podium boys. And I have no doubt Angel will be splashing champagne everywhere in his bedroom. There's no innuendo there, it just sounded pretty grim. And yeah, I'm going to switch over to the outro soon, guys. I appreciate you, for those who did turn up, appreciate you being here. It's nice. For those who followed, thank you very much. That's appreciated as well. We will be here next week, so if you're still here, come back again. We'd love to see you here. And yeah, guys, peace out. I'll be done. Catch you there, boys.